Hey, we're here today, Waffles with Wally, hanging out with Pastor John and Miss Sara. They're the new pastors at Bakersfield First Church of the Nazarene here in Bakersfield, California. And I found out a lot about Pastor John this weekend, and so I thought, what a better time to interview them on Waffles with Wally than today. So here we have our plate of waffles, but we're just going to tease you all with that. We're just going to jump into some questions. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us this morning, for opening your home to come and interview you. So we're just going to jump right into it. So I want you each to participate in this, but tell us a little bit about your family. Jonathon.
Yeah, well, I mean, Sara and I met in college, got married there our junior year, and just love it. We've got a 2-year-old, his name's Noah. He's turning 3 in September. He is full-on boy and loves to run in circles, so it's good.
All right, Sara, what's your take on it? Do you want to add anything to that? We know that it's, as husbands, we tend to miss some things, and so
we do have a cat.
Oh,
we do have a cat. Yeah.
She's like our first child.
Okay. So Noah's the youngest sibling.
That's right.
In essence,
yeah. That's
a little weird, a little behind the scenes story that y'all don't know about. Well, cool. So, where did you move here from? Because it's kind of cool, I think, where you guys used to live.
Yeah. So we lived in the Seattle area. We were in Snoqualmie just before this.
Nobody knows how to pronounce it, so we won't even try.
Snoqualmie.
Sure.
Okay,
Close.
That's close enough. All right. So you went from what we hear rain every day, but I don't know if it rains every day.
Pretty much.
To no rain any days.
Right.
Here in Bakersfield. In fact, I think it's going to be like 112 today.
Yeah. I mean, when my alarm clock went off this morning, though, it was pouring.
It was.
So
It was
I was
raining
really
this morning.
excited.
Was it?
It was.
Wow. So those must be what they mean by isolated rain.
Yes.
Right.
Why would you move to Bakersfield, and how long have you actually lived in Bakersfield? So let's answer that question first.
Why did we move here?
I ask myself that every day. So we moved here in March, so we've been here for 4 months.
Okay.
I was born in Bakersfield. This is where I grew up. My parents are here, as you guys know, so it was a great opportunity. But mostly we knew God called us here. We loved the idea of moving into family. Didn't necessarily love the idea of moving to Bakersfield, but we just felt God stirring something in us for some time, and we were here in December visiting family for Christmas, and heard Bakersfield First was looking for a pastor, and we both felt kind of separately God say, you should check that out, and we did, and they liked us for some reason, and then got the call to come out here. So.
Okay, awesome. So, Jonathon, you grew up here in Bakersfield, at least spent a little time here.
Yeah, I moved when I was 4, so
okay.
Don't remember too much of it.
You might remember the heat, because I hear it's been hot in Bakersfield forever.
Yes.
What about you, Sara? Where did you grow up at?
Yeah, so I grew up in southern Idaho in a town called Twin Falls, and then we went to school in Nampa, so that's when I met John. And I told him that I would never move to California or back to Idaho, and he moved to California.
And I said famous last words.
Right,
Yeah.
And God's up there in heaven going, okay, so move Sara to California. In case you didn't know, Waffles with Wally today, we're hanging out with Jonathon and Sara. Pastor Jonathon's a pastor at Bakersfield First Church. That's why there's, this whole God thing going, God called us to move here. And that's the interesting thing, when you try and stay in tune and in touch with what God's doing in your life or wants to do in your life, you kind of have to pay attention to him. Sometimes it's not like what we think is the best. But I will share with you real quick, I think one of the greatest experiences that I've had so far, besides getting to hang out at your church, we've done that a few times with some of your students and your student ministry team, and but was also the Easter, the week leading up to Easter, and some of the things we did together. And I just kind of feel like this wasn't a question that I just gave you like 10 minutes ago, but what are some of your passions in ministry? Because I kind of feel like some of those things kind of tie into what we've been doing and experiencing, just the tip of the iceberg. But what are some of your passions in ministry?
I mean, so much. I mean, I grew up in the church, but have always just really had this strong love for the church itself, of just what it means to be the body of Christ, more so than just, we meet together on Sunday mornings and have worship and that kind of stuff. But what does it really mean to be the body, right? To be on mission, to be in action, and to have that whole discipleship process. And so I always tell people, I don't get paid to preach on Sunday. What I like to get paid for is taking people to coffee and eating waffles. Just getting to know people on a real level and seeing them live out this gospel, live out that the whole point of why we do what we do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a team effort. I mean,
That's right.
so Sarah, tell me, what are some of your passions within ministry as well?
Yeah, I think at this new church, I've kind of discovered that I've been more of like an encourager. So coming out of COVID, things were still kind of just the bare minimum. So I've really been encouraging people to kind of pick back up the ministries and getting things going. So we've had like a women's mini retreat, and we're planning women's events. We're getting youth back and going. We're getting children's going. We're getting Upwards, our VBS, and just kind of encouraging our team to really just get back out there and bring hope.
Awesome. So I don't know if you guys can tell in just this little short video, but this is a really good team, and they're building their team from what I can see. And one of the things that I also love about this relationship that we've just kind of started as individuals is that your church, along with our church, Ridgeview Community, we are trying to be intentional about doing some things together. And you mentioned something, Jonathon, about being the church. And I think for a long time, even individual churches have had this lone ranger kind of mentality. And when you live in a city that's almost 400,000 people, you can't afford to do that. And so what we really need to do is, what I'm hearing you say is, we need to be able to collaborate with other churches, whether it's Nazarene or Baptist or Bible believing, sending people to heaven, missional churches. Is who we need to be willing to connect with. So tell me, you kind of mentioned some of the things that you've been doing. What is, without spilling a lot of beans, but what is some of the future? What does it look like for First Church, for Bakersfield First Church, and some of the things that you might have on the horizon coming up of being intentional about being the church?
Yeah, and that's kind of the stuff we're trying to discover. Is we know that what the future looks like is we're going to be on mission, and we're going to be out, and we're going to be loving our neighborhood in new, creative ways. But part of that is you have to have a plan to do it without having a plan, right? Of trying to really be in that creative flow and process. So that's, we're looking at trying to bring new people onto the team at BFC that have some of those passions for Bakersfield. But most of all, just being super intentional with who has God placed in our lives around our church? What does our neighborhood really need? A lot of times we like to this other church had this great thing, let's just do that, and it doesn't work, or it fails, and we wonder why? It worked over there, why doesn't it work here? So that's where we're trying to take the time to just discern and have wisdom and see where God is already at work in our neighborhood. And so what can we do to partner alongside with God? Be there to help just encourage and tease out those God moments that are happening. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'm starting to work to get ministry wives together, and ministry spouses broader, of just being a support to a minister is a hard role, and so trying to find those times where we can support each other and how we can be on mission collectively across Nazarene denominations and into just other churches and other connections that we can have.
Awesome. So you heard a couple of things there. First of all, if you have a passion, if maybe God's put it on your heart to come and be a part of ministry in Bakersfield, man, there'll be ways to connect with Pastor Jonathon and Sara in the comments or in the description of this video. But we want to encourage you. We want to pray with you about that. And also, if you're a ministry spouse, man, let's get connected. Let's build those connections and those connecting points so that we can encourage and support one another. So that's all serious stuff. It wouldn't be a Waffles with Wally if we didn't get a little crazy. So I learned some things actually this weekend about Pastor Jonathon, and just this morning about Miss Sara. So this last weekend we did a big event down at Point Loma Nazarene University in San Diego, a little shout out, and called Elevate. And I found out that Pastor Jonathon is really, really, really competitive. So tell us, what did you participate in this weekend, Pastor Jonathon, at Elevate? And why would I think that you were so competitive?
I'm not sure, Wally, but we had a blast. We had some great teams that came down. We were able to play soccer with them, and I mean we took first, so that was fun. I mean there were only 4 teams, but we kicked all 4, all the other 3 teams' butts, so it was good. So that was a blast. We also played Ultimate Frisbee. We partnered with Crossroads in Chandler, which was cool, which is where I grew up. So it was fun to play with them, and they took second. The only game they lost was a championship game, so that was cool to watch. And then we had co-ed volleyball that we kind of threw together. We had some Vegas people jump on our team, and
They're not going to say the team they beat. Beep.
Ridgeview. So it was fun. It was great.
Awesome. And then, did you like get trophies and stuff too?
We did.
And so this is the scene that keeps playing over in my head. I don't even know what trophy you were carrying, but it was between you and the trophy, which was gleaming the sun more. You were like bright red because it was very nice and beautiful down at Point Loma.
It was,
but the sun was intense.
It's brutal.
And as competitive as we think Pastor Jonathon is, I think that this morning I found out that Sara is even more competitive.
She is.
So tell us a little bit about the competitiveness there, Sara. Where does that play out? Where does it come from? And where does that play out into?
I don't know. It comes out in board games mostly. Like, as a family, we play marbles with John's parents, and his mom and I, we get brutal. We would rather take someone out than send a marble home.
I mean, I always started playing games with my mom for the longest time until I played a game with Sara, and I'm like, she's worse.
Wow. Okay. All right. So don't play field games with Jonathon, and don't play board games with Sara. And if you wanna not lose,
right?
Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So, man, I am excited about the partnership, about the future. And seeing where God is going to lead, not just Bakersfield's First, but just us and in relationship together, our churches, how we're going to go and make a difference for the communities that we minister in, which, by the way, we realize, I think, that we have a community right outside our church walls or our homes, but we also are concerned with the entire community that God has placed us into. But it kind of goes in waves, and that's kind of scriptural. You can look it up later. So I'm just excited. We're gonna eat some waffles, and no one really cares about that. It was just a catchy name that our staff came up with, and so hanging out here with Pastor Jonathon and Miss Sara here, Bakersfield First Church. I have to be honest. I always call it. I thought it was Baptist First Church when I saw BSC, and so, but it's Bakersfield First Church. Where's your church located?
So we're off of Hughes and Mean, just there by the mall, and loving it.
Hughes, they're on Hughes Street, and they have a great facility there. They have a gym, a full-size gym that's used like almost every day.
All the time. Yep.
They have courtyard. I mean, it's a great place. If you're looking for a church, I would strongly encourage you to come and check out Jonathon and Miss Sara and their team. What time are your services on Sunday?
Yeah, it's Sundays at 10:30.
10:30 Sunday mornings. Come check them out. Check out their website. We'll put all that information in the comments or the description of this video down below. Check it out. Give them a look-see. And thanks, guys, for letting us come in. You like that look-see? Thanks for letting us come in and interview you guys and eat some waffles and have amazing coffee. So love you guys. Thanks for being here. Peace out. We'll see you on the next Waffles with Wally. We're not very good at this. We don't get it out as often as we need to. So hopefully you're not like waiting to have breakfast until you see the next Waffles with Wally. But hopefully we can get a little bit more intentional with that. Always remember, God is mad in love with you, and we'll see you on the flip side.